Okay, cotangent x. Well, first off, let's graph cotangent x. Let's think of this here. When x is 0 radians, and I do adjacent over opposite, I'm going to have 1 over 0, meaning that I am undefined at 0. I am undefined here, meaning that my first value is going to be very close to infinity way up here. Okay? Now then, so as I'm coming down, I get to pi over 3. I'm going to be at the square root of 3, which is actually at, I think, 2. And then I'm going to be at 1.414 at pi over 4. I'm going to get closer and closer here to this 0. That when I actually get to pi over 2, cotangent is 0. So notice this graph is going down and curving down. Well, what do you think is going to happen as I move into quadrant 2? Well, first off, in quadrant 2, as I move past quadrant 1 values into quadrant 2 right here, I'm going to start having negative values. And these are going to be, in a sense, the same values of those, because that's actually at, I believe, 2 pi over 3, which is negative 0.566. I'm going to be at negative 1 when it's at 3 pi over 4. When I'm at 5 pi over 6, I'm going to be at negative square root of 3, which is negative 1.7. And then what's going to happen is I get closer to pi, I'm going to get closer to another asymptote. And so it's going to go to, so this cotangent graph kind of snaked down. So I call it, it's going down. Well, what happens if I'm over here on this side? Well, first off, what is cotangent in quadrant 4? It is negative. So I'm going to be very close to this asymptote, going closer right there. And right there at negative pi over 4, I'm going to be at 2. When I'm at negative, that should be negative pi over 4 right there. It should be at square root, no, it's not square root 2, should be at negative 1. And that's going to be negative 0.566, I think, negative square root of 3 over 3. And when I actually get to negative pi over 2, I'm going to be at 0. As I move into quadrant 3, I got a negative divided by a negative, so the answers are going to start to be positive. I'm going to have the same values here, just going up, they're going to be positive, and I'm going to have an asymptote there. So a cotangent graph is going to snake down. Snake down, and it had asymptotes right there at the pi's, 0, pi, negative pi. That's where the asymptotes occur for cotangent. All right, the asymptotes occur here, and cotangent snakes down. That's how I remember it. Cotangent's got to snake down. All right, DC, District of Columbia, down cotangent. I don't know, that's the best I got. And anyway, and so you can see the asymptote right there, and you can see him kind of going through, hitting all the dots right there. Oh, again, so you can hit right on it, and the cotangent then snakes down. That's what happens on it. It snakes down, and your asymptotes occur at the pi values.